My name is Marco Balduzzi. I work for the forward-looking threat research team in Trend Micro. This presentation is about a talk that we gave last month at the Black Hat Asia event in Singapore, and is about mobile telephony threats. There are more and more telephony threats that are conducted globally, and specifically, different countries, as well as profile of people. For example, victims in Japan, victims in China, or victims in Singapore. For example, here in Singapore, this one is a police scam. So there is a robocall, which is basically an automated tool that calls people randomly by doing a single call ring and impersonating the police by faking the sourcing number. For example, number you start for 999, which is the police number in Singapore. So at that time, what the user might do, he might basically be scared because he saw basically a call coming in from the police. So what he might do, he might reply back. By calling this number, he gets charged because this is actually a premium number. So there are automated calls like this, or there are manual calls. People that manually try to engage you using social engineering tools. So what is not clear is, how it is conducted. So what we do here in our research, or actually what we did, was to study the cybercrime ecosystem behind this type of threat. But why these threats are happening? Mainly because there is a lack of users' awareness. So users involuntarily publish their private information, such as email address, or in this case, telephone number over internet. For example, on social networking site like LinkedIn. Or they might advertise their telephone number in the signature of their email. So what happens is that cybercriminals can easily profile their victims and then conduct very targeted attacks with high gain. So what we do here is to develop and deploy a high interaction sync honeypot that we used to record both incoming calls and SMS from our cybercriminals. We actively engage them by replaying an automated tool, an automated message, and then we analyze all this data. So one of the goals we faced was to advertise our number efficiently so that attackers can reach back to us. That was one of the challenges of our work. So what we did, we simulate social networking leaks by automatically publishing our telephone number on a networking site, similar for video streamings as well as blogs, and also by running mobile malware leak. By simulating mobile malware leak, so by running mobile malware into telephone that was configured with our honeypot numbers in their contact list. What the malware does, it exports these numbers to the cybercriminal via command and control servers. By doing that, we got basically our infrastructure very appealing to the criminals, but they consequently reach back to us. So we record this data and we publish our findings in a paper that you find at this address, together with a slide of our presentation. To give you a summary of our results, over 6 months of deployment, we collected more than 1,000 of SMS and calls, and the large majority of this one, here you can see 80% of the message, for example, are unsolicited, being, for example, malicious, being, for example, fraud messages or messages related to spam or phishing attempts. Let me give you some insight of the modus operandi of cybercriminal, and as I said, the rest of the information can be found on the paper or on the slide, on the full version of the slide you find online on our website. You can see one of the strategies used by the cybercriminal is to blend malicious traffic with a benign traffic. So, for example, they avoid calling you during the night or calling you during your lunch break, as you can see here on the right, while they tend to write or calling you during working hour. So you, as a victim, are more prone to answer to the SMS or the calls. They also heavily conceal the number, so it means that half of the time we found that criminals, they spoof the originating numbers. So it seems that when compared to TCP/IP, where it's more difficult to spoof, here with telephone it's very easy of doing it. So they often use SMS gateways, so that are services offered by third-party vendors and free, very easy to find over underground forums, for example, over the internet. Or we use voice over IP services that similarly allow you to make like spoofed calls, like the police example we saw at the beginning of the presentation. We also find out that they often use multi-step attacks. So what does it mean? It means that they call you once, then they call you second time, they call you third time. So they are very persistent and during the attack. So it's not a single shot attack, but they often engage you multiple times. And often they go from calls to SMS, especially when they have to move into payment, right? So what we do, we call you once, and then we send you an SMS with the details for the payment. And then they call you back again, asking if you received that message. And then we move from the message again to the email address, for example, email sent to PayPal or our system for complete the transaction. So we move from one channel that is very volatile, as Verati were saying, verbo volant scripta manent. We go from a very verbal type of communication to something that is written, SMS, and then email. And they use intimidation, similar to ransomware. In ransomware, you get locked computer because you did something bad, right? For example, you visit a site that you shouldn't have visited. You have to do something similar. For example, in the postal service fraud, they tell you the provider fraud, they basically tell you that you didn't pay something. Or there is a package in custom hold and the police is looking for you, so you have to pay. So they intimidate their victim to perform the attack. So this and more again in the paper. And we also advise on some defensive strategies. For example, the fact to use a product that have a very complete and exhaustive blacklist for filtering this type of calls and SMS, thanks to the use of Honeypot that are used, as we showed, to collect this type of information. And then, of course, you say you should protect your number as you are protecting your email, right? 50 years ago, everybody was putting their email address over the internet and then got spam. Now we all know that spam is bad, so we don't put our email address over the internet. Or if we put, we conceal the email address using CAPTCHA or using our system. Why we don't do it for numbers? It's because there is no awareness. So one of the goals of our research is to raise the awareness and make sure you protect your telephone number as well as the corporate you work for. Thanks for listening, and you will find all the material on our 3micro.com website.